Cruz, and Tillis.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you guys for being here today. I just have a practical question based on the volume of increased demand that's coming at you. As I understand, you have about 13,000 adjudicators right now, 5,000 government contractors, and then I think you're in the process of hiring 1,000 new employees for your new Crystal City facility, if I understand that correctly. According to recent press reports, the administration estimates that perhaps as many as 800,000 applicants will arrive at your agency in the first 2.5 months, 70% increase as I understand it. I have a practical question about how you're going to handle that volume. A report issued by your agency's Officer of Inspector General in 2007 stated that the USCIS workload system was geared toward approval as opposed to denial of applications, and that adjudicators' performance reviews were based on the number of applications processed. This means that the volume of applications processed correlated with high performance rating. The Inspector General's report also noted how USCIS was drastically failing, quote unquote, this is his term, not mine, to comprehend how time pressure affected the case officer's ability to make appropriate adjudicator decisions. More recently, in 2014, Ken Palinkas, the president of the National Citizenship and Immigration Services Council that represents USCIS adjudicators, said that USCIS still maintains a quota system that prioritizes speed over quality and approvals over investigation. I have a question about how you incent people, how you manage the workload, but I want to make sure that we don't have a rubber stamp mentality here based on the sheer amount of volume that's coming at you. And I'll throw that open to the panel. I'd like to get your response to that.
Can you hear me? Okay, I guess I don't need to push the button. We're aware of that report, and partly as a result of that report, but also partly from our own assessment of the situation. We initiated a quality workplace initiative. That's what we call it internally. And among many things, the principal focus of it was to focus on quality as the incentivizer for our staff, and to work that into the performance work plans, as opposed to the past emphasis, which may have been an overemphasis on production, on counting cases that folks produce. So I can tell you that for the last, I think it's going on 2 years now, production metrics have been taken out of all of our performance work plans, both for the officers in Service Center operations and also for the Field Operations Directorate.
All right, the 1,000 new employees coming in, how long does it take to train adjudicators in that process? Are these experienced people in the process?
I would defer to my colleague.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator. The 1,000 people you're referring to, what was the original stated staffing for the center in Crystal City, that again was put on hold due to the injunction. But at the time, we were planning on hiring between 700 and 800 federal employees. About 400 of those would have been adjudicators, would have been decision makers on applications. Typically, an adjudicator goes through a 5-week training course, basic training, where they are taught by seasoned instructors immigration law, procedure, immigration history, to get a good core, good foundation from which they can build a career. After that is completed, they then go on to a whatever specific caseload that they'll be working. There's generally between 2 and 4 weeks of training, mentoring, and coaching that go on, and then they are considered fully trained or certified. And that was the plan that we would have implemented in the center in Crystal City.
Right, I understand it's on hold. To put that in perspective, in past years, how many people in an average year would be trained in that process? USCIS.
Senator, I apologize. I do not have that. I do not have that number.
But the point is, this is an incrementally large number compared to the average that you normally train in an average year. Is that correct?
Senator, that would have represented a surge in our training demand. Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.